The Texans have a big hole on their defense, and if they plug it the right way, it creates a whole nother situation that could spiral out of control for the Texans on the back end. Let's talk about it. Powered by my friends at BetUS. Jalen Pitre has an injury that's going to keep him out for a few weeks. D'Amico Ryan says shoulder. KBRC is reporting it's a pectoral injury. Whatever the injury, Jalen Pitre is not playing on Sunday, and it'd be a freaking miracle if he played after the bye week against the Miami Dolphins. Is he even going to play at all? It's hard to tell. If he goes on IR, he's not back till the end of the season. If he comes back at all, the Texans will have to make an interesting decision with Jalen Pitre. And you can tell just how much he matters to this defense when you hear D'Amico Ryans talk about him.
Well, Jalen has brought he's been a true impact player for us. Just being around the ball, just causing interceptions, forcing fumbles. He's just been really active, very instinctive player for us. He's been all over the field, and he's made a lot of plays for us, and just miss his instincts, miss his playmaking ability. We're going to miss that, right? So we got to pick it up, and we got to go. We got to move forward. We got to press forward. Whoever else steps in, we got to hit the ground running.
D'Amico had plenty of nice things to say about Jalen Pitre, and Petre's been an integral part of this defense. Sure, a moment here or there in coverage, he's looked a little out of place. You think about the Jets game where Devontae Adams got him by just running past him for a touchdown that pretty much put that one away in that matchup. But Petre's been awesome around the line of scrimmage, playing the Pitre position, that nickel cornerback spot that kind of is a linebacker. I know the defensive line likes to joke that Petre's got a condo with the defensive lineman. He's been excellent for the Texans, and now they don't have that piece to move around on the chessboard that is this defense, except they do have that piece because Jimmy Ward did this exact job in San Francisco for the San Francisco 49ers before he came over to the Texans. Now, when Jimmy Ward came over to the Texans, I feel like there was an unspoken agreement that he's going to be a safety only. But Ward said the other night he's going to do whatever the team needs. And Jimmy Ward filling in for Jalen Pitre, that's almost a 1-for-1 replacement for the Houston Texans. And you're saying to yourself, well, hey, Cody, sounds pretty good. A 1-for-1 replacement, you basically get the same level of production and maybe even a little bit more because the guy's played that position a whole heck of a lot more than Jalen Pitre and done it a lot more. That's pretty good, right? Yeah, that is really good. There's just one big problem. With Jimmy Ward playing the nickel cornerback spot, that safety spot that's up near the line of scrimmage, that pseudo linebacker spot, the Pitre position, as I like to call it. With him playing that position, that means Eric Murray is on the field at the safety spot. Now, Murray's had moments where he's looked okay at safety, but Murray's also had moments where he's been picked on. And I feel like the Titans game is a perfect example of picking on Eric Murray. And if you can pick on Eric Murray as the Tennessee Titans, you certainly think about the Miami Dolphins, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Baltimore Ravens. If you make the playoffs, whoever the 5 team is in the 4-5 matchup that the Texans will host to open the playoff round, you start to see how picking on Eric Murray could be a big issue if Jalen Pitre doesn't make his way back onto the field here in the next few weeks for the Houston Texans. Now, Jimmy Ward helping out up front, that's going to help out a lot. It's going to help out the rushing defense, and you can get some good coverage out of Ward from that nickel cornerback spot from the Pitre position, if you will. But Murray is eventually going to be found, and you think about some of the times this year that teams have found him. The Titans this most recent week, the Justin Jefferson plays against Minnesota. Teams with good offensive minds, Doug Peterson for the Jacksonville Jaguars this weekend, Mike McDaniel for the Miami Dolphins, the Baltimore Ravens and Kansas City Chiefs obviously have excellent offenses. They will find ways to get to Eric Murray and exploit him. And that's something the Texans are going to have to prepare for and be ready for. But there's some solutions to kind of help out Eric Murray. And I'll tell you right after I tell you about my friends at BetUS. You can get in on this Jacksonville and Texans game already. It started out as Texans 6-point favorites. It's down to 5-point favorites. You might want to jump in now if you like either side. Of course, BetUS has everything for you from the side to the point spread to the total. And then the prop builder is fantastic. Hey, college football's winding down. You can see the playoff on the horizon. Sign up at BetUS. Use that code YouTube150. Get that 150% bonus up to $1,000 on your first deposit. I think it's up to $2,000 actually, up to $2,000 on your first deposit. YouTube 150 is that code. So how do you hide Eric Murray? Well, some of it is you just got to trust that Eric Murray is going to get the job done. He's a professional. He gets paid. He's familiar with the defense. And again, he's had some moments this season where he's looked good enough at the safety spot. So some of it is, hey, inevitably, you're going to find Eric Murray in a position where he's defending a player that you'd not want Eric Murray defending, and he's just got to go make the play. That's the NFL sometimes. You have a player that's not as talented, ending up on a talented player, and the not as talented guys got to make it happen. That's as simple as it is sometimes with professional football. The other way is, well, that pass rush helps out Eric Murray quite a bit. Murray can make quick decisions and cover some of the short stuff when he gets put into coverage positions, and he won't get exploited on long developing plays if the Texans pass rush is as excellent as it can be in throwing off opposing quarterbacks. You think about whatever the Jaguars run out there at quarterback this weekend, and then some of the quarterbacks they're going to face. If you can get to those quarterbacks down the stretch, you'll limit the exposure for a guy like Eric Murray in coverage situations. And if you can limit that, then you can keep that from being a huge issue for this Texans defense. And this defensive line is excellent. They give the Texans a chance in any of the matchups that they have, and they set a nice base for the defense. They're going to have to play just a tiny bit better to cover up for the lack of Jalen Pitre, not only in the pass rush to keep guys like Eric Murray out of long coverage situations, but also in the run game, because Pitre helped a ton in the run game. Jimmy Ward from the safety spot was a good support guy for the run game with Pitre at that Pitre position. So the defensive line, the linebackers got to pick it up just a little bit to make sure that they make up for the Jalen Pitre absence, because the trickle down of one of these injuries, of course, is not just the guy's missing, you got to replace him, but who replaces the guy that replaces him, because you're moving Jimmy Ward down from safety to that nickel corner / linebacker / Pitre position. So you got to be ready for the cascading waterfall of moves to get things going for the Houston Texans. So Pitre is a big loss. You want him back as soon as possible. He may need surgery in the offseason. If he can play through some of the issues, some of the pain, he can tolerate that, maybe he's back a little bit sooner rather than later. The bad news would be if you lost Jalen Pitre for the rest of the year. You got somebody to replace him, but that also means that it puts a precarious position on the safety situation with Eric Murray coming in there and playing a whole heck of a lot more snaps. Again, Murray's just got to make it work at the safety spot, filling in for Jimmy Ward, who's filling in for Jalen Pitre. What say you? You worried about Petre's absence? You happy with Jimmy Ward being sort of the one-for-one replacement for Jalen Pitre? Let me know in the comment section down below. On your way down there, throw me a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You can buy my wall art. It's custom made, one of a kind. The link's in the description down below. And of course, don't forget to visit with our friends at BetUS. That code YouTube150 gets you that 150% bonus up to $2,000 on your first deposit. Appreciate you watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it. And I can't wait until we talk Texans again soon.